New York, Los Angeles, and Toronto are some of the world's most prolific sites of art production. They are home to many unique art forms, not all of which receive the same recognition. If you were to ask someone, what is art, they would likely think about the conventional pieces such as Renaissance paintings or the sculptures from ancient Greek and Rome. Throughout history, artists have always pushed the boundaries of what constitutes as art. Initially, Impressionist pieces were not regarded as real art by society. Today, no one would question that Monet's pieces, such as his water lily paintings, are among some of the greatest masterpieces. Van Gogh's post-impressionist Starry Night, with its thick, swirling, dynamic brushstrokes, is one of the most well-known and celebrated pieces. Picasso, known for his Cubist pieces, and Salvador Dali, known for his surrealist compositions. These greats and many more have vastly different styles and approaches to painting, yet no one would question their work status as art. What is your favorite piece of art, if you have one?
Favorite piece? I mean, this is like modern art, but I mean, like, the first thing that popped into my mind is Rothko, but I just think maybe that's just the color.
For me, I would just say Einstein on the Beach by Robert Wilson.
Do you have a favorite art style?
I mean, does sculpting count?
Sure, you could like sculpture.
I like sculpture, I like things that, but also, I mean, very, deeply realistic, I guess, portraits of things. It's just, kind of amazing to see, how well they can capture reality,
I like surrealism. I love Salvador Dali.
Do you think abstract pieces are art, and why?
I think they are art, but the thing is, I don't know, it's very hard with me in art because art and some abstract pieces I really like, and then there's some that I'm just I don't know what's going on, and this just looks like nothing. But I do think they are art because people express themselves in different ways. So you don't have to paint a portrait or a landscape or something that looks like something for it to be how you're feeling or how you want to express yourself. You could be angry and just want to show that on a canvas, and I think that's very important, and that's why abstract art is super important.
Do you think graffiti is art, and why?
I do think it's art, yeah, but actual pieces and abstract graffiti or even graffiti of faces or things like that, I definitely think that is art. It's just a different medium for them. It's different in a way where if you went into a museum, you would see it there. You pay to see that, but graffiti is just kind of you can travel anywhere and you can get your work anywhere.
Would you consider film a type of art?
Yes. It's more the way that the film looks is definitely art.
What does art mean to you? What does art mean to you?
Oh man.
Everything.
Yeah. Life.
It's the way that I would say it is the most happens to be the most beautiful, but it's also just the clearest way that we can communicate beyond without language, across cultures and time. It is literally the only thing that that gives us communication throughout all of that.
I think it means that there's an outlet, for me at least. It's something that being a kid that was a little weird and kind of into little weird things, to have art or to even look at it and see it in film, television, canvases, graffiti, whatever. It was an outlet to kind of see that, and to see that you can relate to other people in the world, and other people are just as weird as you, and you can kind of feel what they're feeling through that, and by being able to connect to that, it makes you feel less alone.
Society has continued to embrace new art forms and styles, and artists continue to challenge them. Contemporary artists continue to push these boundaries with their creations, many of which can now be found in galleries and museums. But what about the pieces that don't make it into galleries and museums? Do you think art is limited to what you could find in a museum or gallery?
Not at all.
Would you consider graffiti art? Yeah?
Definitely. I think that if it's like, if there was thought and emotion put into it, then it's art.
Walking down the streets of New York, I found many installations that take art in new directions, especially in Times Square. Describe to me what you're sitting in.
I have no idea what this thing is. It kind of looks like a teardrop, and it also has a dynamic to it. So because of the movement, it makes people more interested to this attraction and makes people want to come see and sit down and see what it's all about.
What do you guys think about pieces you could interact with in terms of art?
I think it makes it more fun. Like for me, looking at a piece of art is amazing, but interacting with it is even better.
Along the High Line, I found more installations and graffiti pieces on the surrounding buildings. It seems that along every turn, various art forms could be seen or were in the making. I even came across a spray paint artist near the Brooklyn Bridge. LA was no different, as Venice Beach was covered in vibrant pieces, and in Hollywood I had a chance to see a spray paint artist create a piece. How long have you been making spray paint pieces?
10 years.
What inspires your compositions?
Well, I started doing it because of my family. It's a family thing. I love art. I love painting. I love drawing, especially this type of art.
Do you have a favorite graffiti artist?
My favorite graffiti artist is Banksy because his identity is kept completely a secret, so nobody knows who he truly is. He is able to do his artwork and go, and he uses a stencil art technique, so he can just put up stencils and spray paint his art on in really quick seconds and then get out of the area.
Can you describe your favorite piece of graffiti that you saw?
My favorite piece of graffiti that I saw is the picture of the 3 Statues of Liberties. I really like the 3 Liberty Ladies because they have really bright colors and lots of stars which represent the United States of America because the stars are always on the flags. And I really like that. And I like that they were all holding their arms up like this, like the real Statue of Liberty. And it was kind of parody of that, so I very much enjoyed that.
What do you think is the most creative aspect of graffiti?
I think the most creative aspect of graffiti is that anyone can be able to do it at any place at any time.
Some people see graffiti solely as vandalism, but it is just as valid as an art form as any other painting. Spray paint is simply another medium, while walls and structures are surfaces just like a canvas is. In Toronto, I ventured down to a place dedicated to art, Graffiti Alley. How long have you been creating spray paint pieces?
Since October of 2013.
Cool. And why do you like spray paint as a medium?
I like spray paint as a medium because when I'm painting, there's no waiting process. If I wanted to add layers down, like let's say I'm doing a space background or something, then I can just lay down all the colors I need and then put my black on top and just continue going. There's no waiting process. The paint dries really fast and it's very easy to handle.
Do you always create your pieces on the same mediums?
I used to actually work a lot with poster board. Poster board was kind of the spray paint artist's go-to, so to speak, for a long time because it was glossy, it was portable, it was cheap. But nowadays I like to use canvas.
What are some common tools you use to create different effects?
Let's say I'm making a space scene, I'll often use just some random white paint, put some on my finger, and just flick them onto a black background and just create stars. If I'm making highlights on mountains, I'll use a palette knife and I'll just like smear it on.
So, what is art? How would you define art if you were to give it a definition?
I think I would define it as anything that you can express yourself with, anything that you can put your whole being into and it can show when you do it. It's not just something that is calculated and perfect, it's whatever you want it to be, so you don't have to follow any rules with it.
I don't think you can really define art. Art comes in many different mediums, many different methods.
Any kind of impulse that anyone would have to just create something that they're feeling, whether it's from another inspiration or just something that comes out of their mind, just to create.
Art is about emotion. It's either about sharing an emotion that the artist has and expressing that to other people, or having other people feel an emotion because of something that you created.
Something that is vibrant, it's something that really captures your attention. It can be colorful, it can be textured differently. It can be something like in the middle of the street that just kind of speaks to you.
To create a form for, yeah, like experience and like the depths and heights of like our imaginations and knowledge.
This is art. These are all forms of creative visual expression, and all these art forms are part of what makes these cities so beautiful.